Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's second episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And now we're going back to that horrible world known as the Agape boarding school, as promised. But before we get going today, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you are going to find all the links I've been slowly gathering in regards to what's been going on at the Agape boarding school, including the Change.org Shut the Agape Boarding School Down petition. Please take a look at these links, share them on all your social media, sign that petition, and make it viral, all right? Okay, folks, and just like with the JRC, when we discuss the Agape boarding school, you may catch glimpses of maybe not surveillance video coverage, but video coverage of and descriptions of children being abused at this school. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? Now, just like the JRC, in fact, worse, because it's my own fucking state in a place that is not even an hour away from me, very obviously you're going to hear me shout explicitives, might even get tongue-tied and go into silence every so often. So apologies for all of that here in advance, all right? Also, folks, we do have the other videos in regards to the JRC. Numerous, so many videos. So please, folks, look into that case as well, okay? Now, this is from a website while I was doing some research this afternoon called We Warned Them. This is from Margaret and Tay Arrow from this year, about around March. It says the Agape boarding school has gone too far. So we're going to read this and the letter that they sent forth, and the organizations, including one I know that's very near and dear to my heart, who is right now being threatened by another school with a defamation lawsuit, has signed on to this letter. That's right, Neuroclastic has signed on to this letter. So, talk about worlds intersecting, huh? We're going to go ahead and read through this and read that letter this afternoon, okay? All right, so here we go, folks. We are asking for your help. In Missouri, our friends from TTI survivor community have drawn the line. Agape boarding school has gone too far. Agape, a residential troubled teen program located in Cedar County, Missouri, is under investigation for their abuse and for using unsafe, controversial practice on youth. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The alarming reports of abuse, including improper restraints, sexual assault cases, underreporting of child abuse and neglect, and underqualified or completely unqualified staff. Remember when I said this was Missouri's JRC? My Exhibit A! These allegations have been ongoing, dating back to Agape's opening in the 90s. Agape's administration has made no attempts to regulate their adherence to safety protocols. For too long, Agape has been allowed to operate unregulated by the state and use religious exemptions to dodge accountability. In fact, folks, I've gone digging. You know how the JRC has at least tried to respond? Yes, it's word salad, but they've responded. Nothing from Agape. And I've been digging for an hour. Nothing. Recently, staff member Dr. David Smock was arrested and charged with child sex crimes against multiple Agape youth. We have attached further resources at the end of this letter if you would like to learn more about this specific situation, which we strongly encourage given the seriousness of Agape's complicity in these acts, which we will do, of course, on this channel. To that end, we have edited a letter asking that the school be shut down immediately. Agape boarding school has been party to overwhelming reports of neglect, abuse, and exploitation of youth in their so-called care. We must work together to prevent this traumatic cycle from recurring. And we asking that your organization sign into this letter. Our goal is to help our survivors and friends to end the human rights violations and mistreatment of youth are facing at Agape right now. Please join us for the fight for the safety of these youth who still trapped at Agape. We must send a message that they are not forgotten. We know the value, hard work, and dedication it takes to protect young people. We strongly feel that you do not uphold but embody our same values of protecting vulnerable youth from abuse. We would incredibly honor to have your support here in this important issue. And we're going to view the letter. But before we do, how familiar does this sound, folks? Remember when I told you while covering JRC that there were many more schools out there just like them? I had no idea one was in my own fucking backyard. You have no idea. I'm heartbroken and infuriated and is there a word for that? If there's a hell, they're all going there. And I hope I get to witness it. Or at least that they have it here on Earth. These schools are everywhere, folks. It's the JRC. It's Tobin World. Look them up. Out in California. It is Agape. These places are everywhere. And they pick on particularly two vulnerable groups of people. People with neurological disabilities and physical disabilities, and people with mental health issues, and they exploit them. And the differences between the East and West are present, of course. You got a hippie who went off the deep end with the JRC. Some dude who entered the commune, and I don't know if he was taking the Charlie Manson drugs when he came up with the idea of the JRC, but it kind of fucking seems like it. And then you have over here in Bible Thumper country, fucking kill me. I'm only still here, folks, because I'm broke. I'm only still here because I'm broke. Just saying. Where they use Christianity, particularly Baptists. Yes, I'm sorry, I do not have a great view of Baptists. There are a plethora of them. There's damn near a church on every single corner on my little section of the country here. It's nauseating. It's judgmental. They're cruel. And that's just them without this boarding school. But rant over, let's go into the letter, shall we? Now, you're going to find the link to this and to this letter in the description box, folks. WWT, Official Shutdown Agape Boarding School. To the Attorney General, Governor, and people of Missouri, the We Warned Them campaign, undersigned individuals and undersigned organizations call upon the state of Missouri to immediate measures to shut down Agape Boarding School due to Agape's use of unsafe and controversial practices on youth in their current care. We further urge the state of Missouri to take immediate action by addressing the civil rights violations and seeking justice for the countless young people who have been victimized by Agape Boarding School. Since its opening in the 1990s, Agape Boarding School has had overwhelming reports of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Numerous students have come forward alleging abuse. Based on interviews conducted by Missouri Highway Patrol to determine whether abuses occurred at Agape, the Attorney General recommended pursuing 66 charges against about 20 defendants, 2 who were former staff. Of those 66 charges recommended by the Attorney General's office, Senior County Prosecutor Tay Geither, who was a personal connection to Agape's staff, chose to pursue only 13. The charges of 4, and only charges which were misdemeanors of Class E felonies. Holy fuck! It's like the JRC all over again! It's a sucker punch to the fucking gut to me, folks. Some of these people are the same people who have backed me in fighting places like the JRC while they were doing and supporting people like this behind my fucking back. It doesn't make it better. Why are we protecting them? And who's paying who off? Like the JRC, folks, I guarantee you, money's changing hands somewhere. The fact that there is a personal connection between the county prosecutor and Agape boarding school staff undermines the possibility of satisfactory completion of the case. Conflict of interest. We know about that from another case, don't we? Survivors of Agape have spoken of alleged maltreatment on various platforms. These allegations include improper restraints on children lasting for more than 2 hours, abuse towards autistic teens. There's currently an active court case. Yeah, that's how I got involved in Neuroclastic and the rest of us. A survivor of Agape School alleges that he personally witnessed 50 to 100 youths engage in a range of behaviors from attempted suicide to self-harm. Examples of this include drinking bottles of poisonous liquid, hangings, and youth throwing themselves down flights of stairs. Despite protocols, these incidents were never reported. I wonder how many about the JRC were never reported. As of 2021, Agape boarding school workers were charged with assault. 5. The recent reports of abuse prove that youth are fundamentally unsafe in Agape's care. The only way to stop this cycle of abuse is for Missouri to take further legislative action. 11. To establish preventative measures while ensuring there are no potential loopholes. We are urging you to take immediate action by shutting down Agape boarding school and to support the introduction of legislative action to prevent organizations like Agape from abusing more youth. The survivor reports of physical and sexual assault, high rates of CPTSD, and suicide rates amongst the survivors are all calls of urgency. The We Warn Them campaign looks forward to your public response. In solidarity, the We Warn Them campaign. Now, let's take a look at some of these. Some of them are going to look familiar. Child U.S. Advocacy, the NYRA, the National Juvenile Justice Network, the Missouri Democratic Progressive Caucus, Freedom Baptist Church, Child USA, Henry Martin for Congress for Missouri, ICARS, International Coalition Against Restraint and Seclusion. You'll know them as one of the folks who have been helping us also fight against the JRC. GBA Untold, the Advocates Against Religious Institutional Abuse, the Teen Peer Youth Court, Alliance Against Seclusion and Restraint. Again, you know them as folks who are helping us fight the JRC as well. The Troubled Teen Advocate Group, the Youth Emancipation Project, Neuroclastic. Again, remember, Neuroclastic is out supporting these guys, helping these survivors, in spite of being under threat from the Judge Rotenberg Center right now of a defamation lawsuit if they don't remove their article about the abuses going on there. And they're still fighting. Fucking A. The Grapefruit Foundation, Hope Work Incorporated, Unsilenced, the Fox Charter Media, the SIA Organization, We Take Back Your Life Recovery, Integrity Americas, and We Warn Them. I'm sure as we get more people involved, we'll probably get more signatures. I wouldn't be surprised if People First of Missouri is not one of the next signers on here. I know quite a few people in the People First groups out in this area. I have worked with them on many occasions on several different projects. So, yeah, I need to start getting some stuff sent out to them. We got ARC out here. A few organizations that I need to start personally reaching out to in regards to this. But yeah, you see a lot of familiar faces here, don't you? A lot of familiar faces. It's a formula, folks. Whether they choose to use medicine or religion as a camouflage and a shield, It all boils down to all the same things. As we go through more of these different cases, as we go through different schools, you're going to see a pattern. And there's really only one answer in the year 2022 on how to deal with schools like Agape Boarding School and the Judge Rotenberg Center and Tobin World and every single other school out there like them. Close them down. I'm going to close out on that note. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon, and we here at Smelling Tea hope you have a good one. We will see you on this subject next weekend, Tuesday afternoon. Bye-bye.